What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and sorry for the lack of content last couple of days. I've been at festival, balloons, I'm a bit burnt, so apologies. And I'm going to get straight into it because the amount of stuff I've read on Twitter, Facebook, in the media is astounding. How uneducated content creators are, journalists, other football clubs are of what has happened to Everton Football Club. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things regarding PSR, and shots are going to be fired. I'm not going to name the content creators because I can't be bothered, but if the shoe fits, wear it. Facts are, Everton won at 92%, roughly, give or take now, but roughly 92% to wages to turnover, which equates to something like 190 million to like 210 million. Something silly like that. Whatever the numbers are, they're irrelevant. But that's roughly the figures. But what people fail to forget is Everton, 3 years ago, would have made signings that would be on 4-5 year deals. And the simple fact of the matter is, as soon as the Ukraine war happened, and Alicia Rusmanov, who was the main sponsor of the construction of the ground, USM's naming rights all over the place, it was on the stadium, Megaphone was the same. All of these sponsorship deals, worth totaling around 75 to 100 million pounds, got canned overnight. So Everton still have obligations to build a stadium. They still have obligations to pay player contracts. They still have obligations to deal with the surroundings. Now, no disrespect, but no club can manage to go from that to back on their feet with the obligations that they took out in 18 months. It's not possible. It isn't possible. You're having to redesign your commercial strategy for years. Because the facts are, if this Ukraine war hadn't happened, then Everton wouldn't be in the position it is. Now, PSR rules changed, which meant Everton then were on for costs that they didn't believe they were on for in the first place. Partly because they could have funded them because of PSR, but secondly, the rules changed. Content creators are being so quick to go against Everton and Villa and Newcastle and Chelsea. Chelsea's is a little bit different, and we will talk about Chelsea's. But the facts are, Everton are doing nothing wrong. Everton have found a clever loophole with Aston Villa, where they're selling their players that have cost them nothing, homegrown, for 100% profit, which can be used over a 5-year period, which covers PSR. The facts are, if people don't like that because you can't then sign our players, I don't care. Nor does any other Everton fan, and nor does Everton Football Club. The facts are, Everton Football Club are doing right by Everton Football Club. And if that means you can't get players like Jared Branthwaite for £35 million, which is an absolute insult, by the way, based on the fact that you've signed Anthony for 80 million, Maguire for 75 million, Sancho for 80 million pounds, then I don't care what you think, and nor does any other Evertonian. Because you haven't got a clue. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know how you're condemning Everton for things that you don't understand what you're condemning them for. You haven't got a clue. So I strongly suggest you then go and comment on your own club's inadequacies, which involve 7 managers in God knows how long, £500 million negative net spend in that period of time. Don't come to us and start giving it the big one when our net spend is actually minus 79 million in our favour, positive 79 million. There's only one club with a better positive net spend than Everton, that's Brighton. So let's not give it this whole full of shit stuff. Everton Football Club, in terms of where we are currently, in the situation that we were put in, has actually been managed okay. So what happens now when Everton have a new owner, a new stadium. And by the way, there isn't this legacy debt on this stadium as of right now. There isn't this 10-year mortgage or this 15-year mortgage on new stadiums like there has been on the Emirates and Tottenham's ground, etc. There isn't that. Everton won't have a penny of debt against this stadium. The owners are funding the lot. The new people are funding the lot. Don't get me wrong, there'll probably be a liquidity loan against Everton. So, i.e., when Everton is sold, they obviously get their money back, or they might take a little bit of money from the profits or whatever every year. Fine, that's their prerogative. But the facts are, Everton Football Club are going to be run better. Everton Football Club are on its way back, and if people don't like looking at that because we're just managing the situation at the time being, we don't care. So don't come for us because you're wasting your time. You know, just like everyone else turned on the big six when you tried to leave our league to set up a European league, and you got absolutely destroyed for it. Your football team doesn't care about what you think as content creators or fans. Doesn't give a toss. They were going to walk anyway. It was only because it caused a massive revolt in this country. So don't start giving it the big un that Manchester United can't sign Branthwaite, or that Arsenal can't sign Calvert-Lewin, because we don't care. Now, let's then flip this on its head. Let's talk about Chelsea, which I mentioned. Fundamentally, what Chelsea did was sell infrastructure from one business to another, and in my opinion, that is wrong. However, if they get away with it, they get away with it. You don't see me or any other Everton fan going absolutely doolally-tap about it, because there's no point. There's no point. If that's a loophole, then it's a loophole. So I'm not going to give it the big one about that, and they're not going to give it the big one about PSR and £10 million for a youth player and whatever. There's just no point. Now, the transfers that have caused all these issues, Tim O'Reilly, we'll go with that, has been signed for £9 million. He made 6 first-team appearances for Aston Villa, and he's about 4th, maybe 5th in their pecking order in midfield. He's 20 years old. £9 million for a player with the potential that he's got. By the way, I'm pretty sure he come on against Ajax. I'm pretty sure he played in the Premier League. I'm pretty sure he's been at Aston Villa for a good period of time, 3 years or something. He's made a good reputation for himself. I don't think that's a problem, Everton signing a player like that for £9 million. I'd rather spend £9 million on a 20-year-old Tim than a £15 million on a 27-year-old Neil Maupay. So you can lose your head at that. Then you flip it on its head and go Lewis Dobbin, £10 million. Like, that's outrageous. So Lewis Dobbin made 20 first-team appearances for Everton Football Club. He scored a goal against Chelsea. And just to then summarise that, similar players that made similar appearances for Everton have gone and ripped up the Championship and done really well in players like Ellis Sims and Tom Cannon. So £10 million for Lewis Dobbin is also not unreasonable. So that is Everton. Now, I don't care about any other club apart from Everton. I don't care. I'm not even interested in your results. So for people to come out who don't have any knowledge, who have got massive platforms and talk absolute shite, is beyond me. So that's my rant. That's where we are with that. I ain't going to go talk about it anymore. Any of the content creators that you know that this is aimed towards, just digest it. Lose your main sponsor and tell me how you handle that. Tell me what happens. Do it. Let me know. Let me know your thought process behind that. You know, with your players that are on £350,000 a week to be loaned out. Let me know how that conversation goes in your head. All right? Cheers. Right, now let's talk about the transfer window as a whole. Everton are being active. We've been linked with Liliman Ndiaye. We've been linked with Tim. Obviously, we signed Tim. And we've also been linked with Menti, Yakubu Minty, I think his name is, who was on loan last season at Feyenoord. All very good players. All clearly very good players. And Dye's a ball-carrying player, can play anywhere across the three, in middle, or up front. He's got pace, got a bit of trickery, can score a goal. And we know a little bit about him from previous times that we've seen him play. We've been linked with him for a long time. And this is a player that has said that he would like to move to Everton on a loan. That would be phenomenal. That would be a great signing for Everton Football Club. And he is a player that I do think can add something different. So I'm excited by that. I'm excited by what he can bring. I'm excited about how he can move our football club forward. So that's a good one. Now let's talk about the Newcastle lad. Now this lad is going to cost us 30 to 40 million, and there's rumours that there's about 7 clubs interested in him. However, it's going to cost 30 to 40 million. I think the facts are that this football club isn't in the position to make this signing unless something is going on behind the scenes. And I suspect that that something is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now let's talk about Lewin. Firstly, I love him. I love him. I love his individualism. You know, people criticised him for some of his fashion choices, for example. I love the fact that he had an identity and he didn't conform and he stood up. And I love that. Whether that is people taking the mick out of him or people having a pop at, modelling shoots and whatever he's on. The facts are, I love someone who's got the bottle to stand there and go, I am him. That's chest. That's living your life knowing that you are the man. And I will always back that. However, he has had his injury issues. Not just last season, the season before. When he has been fit and he's back at his best, Calvert-Lewin is a fantastic number 9. He really is. He holds up the ball well. He's pacey. He can score with his head. He's not great in one-on-one situations when he has time to think, but if it's instinctive, he's good. Turning on goal, he's good. We saw the goal against West Ham this season where he gets it, Cruyff turn, sticks it bottom corner. He's very good at things like that. But his injury record has been appalling. Now, he also only has 1 year left on his deal and apparently wants £150,000 a week, around that figure. I don't know how true that is. The simple fact of the matter is Everton, as of right now, because of the position we are in, are not able to cater for that. And if I'm being honest, I don't think we should. So if he leaves, he goes with my blessing, and I wish him the best, and I would hope that he wouldn't leave, but he may well do. And then you're looking at options. Who are Everton going to bring in? We've been linked with this lad from Newcastle who is a winger, so that doesn't solve your problem. Beto and Chimiti, in my opinion, are not the answers. I think Chimiti is better than Beto. So that's my personal take on that. Everton need a goal scorer. Now, there's 2 that I absolutely would take if we could get them. 3 that I would take if we could get them, and they're big ifs, and there's reasons behind them. One of them is Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson clearly is surplus to requirements at Newcastle, and people comment about his injury record. He's 32 years old. He would be cheaper than Lewin, and even for the games that he plays, which I think last season was less than Lewin, I think he still scored the same amount of goals, if not more. He scores more goals per minute in 90 than Lewin does. He, for me, is a obvious fix to a problem for a year, maybe 2. And if we could get him on a loan or a marginal fee as part of this Dominic Calvert-Lewin deal, I am all for it. 100% all for it. That would be amazing. Second one, and this is ballsy, I suspect this won't happen, but I'm talking about it anyway, is Romelu Lukaku from Chelsea. He is available. He is a player that obviously isn't happy at Chelsea. He was at Roma last season, so the owners already know him. I'm not saying it could happen because his wages are absolutely astronomical. But if these owners, and he's still at Chelsea, the last week of the transfer window, if they get the sign off and say that they are Everton owners from that moment forward, it would not surprise me at all if they make a ballsy move. Because these guys did make a ballsy move at Roma. They bought in Mourinho, they bought in Lukaku, they went for Europe. They went for it early on. They spent like 100 million euros, which in Premier League terms is probably the equivalent of spending £200 million, because 100 million euros in Serie A buys you good quality for a lot less, because the Premier League prices are so inflated. So you get what I'm saying. It would not surprise me. And the other person who again they know is Roma centre forward Tammy Abraham. He's another player that I think could do the same job as Calvert-Lewin. So there's three. Now we've been linked with Brozier as well from Chelsea. I could see that happening. But do I think he scores enough goals? I just don't know. I don't know enough about him. I know he's still young. I saw him at Southampton and he looked fantastic. But he looked like a player that coming off the left. So what do you do with Dwight McNeil? What do you do with Jack Harrison? They're the bits I don't fully understand. We've also got this issue around Onana. Now, we are getting towards PSR deadline. Onana's in Europe, currently playing in the Euros. I can't imagine a deal for Onana being done by the 30th of June, which means Everton are going to have a little bit more leg room for next season based on the transition period of this situation. Also on top of the fact that we've just got another £20 million shirt deal, so £20 million per season shirt deal on top of the extra money we're going to get with the stadium. So Everton Football Club, come next summer, are in dreamland. So all of these issues currently, they go away next summer. So be excited. But if Everton can manage around PSR this season, we're going to have a great season, built on a very solid back four, based on a fantastic goalkeeper who is incredibly underrated, with a midfield that's going to be dynamic, pacey, get the ball forward, with hopefully a centre forward who can score goals on a regular basis. This Everton football team is going to be nowhere near 12th or 13th, which is where we should have finished last season. It's going to be more like 8th, 9th. So let's not be negative. The future is absolutely bright for Everton Football Club, and trust me, I'm in it for the ride. We are in a really, really good position. So let's get through this summer. If all these other football clubs want to keep talking shit about us, crack on. But Football Club, the Everton, are here to stay. We're here to stay. We're here to go forward. And trust me, we're coming back, because it feels different. The Mashiri era felt like giving your credit card to a kid in Woolworths. This feels like you've got a large budget, but plenty of shops to buy from. Lots of choices, lots of options, lots of ways of structuring deals. It's much more exciting. So, right, that's the end of that. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe video. Any of the content creators, you're always free to reach out to me. I'm expecting replies. So if you've got the ball, do it. I will more than happily come on any channel and defend our football club to anyone. Oh, and to any of those clubs, by the way, that go, why is he a Brummie? I've been doing this channel for 6 years now. Just watch the earlier videos, because I don't need to explain again why I'm a Brummie Evertonian. I don't need to. Alright? So, guys, I'll see you soon. Hit the like and subscribe. Peace.